Hello, my name is Angel Maldonado. As a part of the practical plan activities for the Education Technology Leadership Master's Programs for Lamar University, I will be conducting interviews of different leader personnel of various departments on the use of technology to manage their actual departments. I decided to do this because again, it's one of the requirements for the uh, practicum plan, and I really like this master's program. It's about education technology leadership. So I wanted to see exactly how different departments use technology in order to manage their actual department. So I decided to interview the maintenance department, the food service department, transportation, human resources, PEMS, and the nurse. The person I intend to interview for the maintenance department is JC Phoenix. She's the director of operations. The goal of her department is to provide exceptional support to students, staff, and the community for the purpose of directing maintenance services, providing information, and serving as a resource to the operations directors and others. Achieving defined objectives by planning, evaluating, developing, and maintaining services in compliance with established guidelines, codes, and regulations, and supervising and directing assigned staff. Building maintenance directors ensure that maintenance staff perform the proper repairs and preventative maintenance needed to keep a building's infrastructure running smoothly. Directors' daily tasks can vary based on employers' needs and the building's types and functions. Most directors' positions require high school diploma and at least 2 years of maintenance experience. Some other bigger schools or companies require a bachelor's degree in related areas. Directors usually have an office, but their schedules will often include frequent building site visits. Building maintenance directors must deal with oriented and possess leadership, communication, and problem-solving skills. A working knowledge of electrical, plumbing, and heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system is typically necessary for this position. For the transportation department, I decided to interview the supervisor of transportation. His name is Greg Jerkins. As a supervisor, he has a responsibility of directing transportation services, providing information, and serving as a resource to the district administrators. He also defines objectives by planning and evaluating, developing, and implementing and maintaining services in compliance with district objectives, as well as all relevant guidelines, codes, and regulations, and supervising and directing assigned staff. Some of the responsibilities and tasks that the transportation supervisor deals with on a daily basis is they have to develop strategies to run transportation operations effectively, direct transportation operation in accordance with schedule, maintenance and manage bus programs, maintain and supervise buses and transportation vehicles, ensure safe and efficient operation of the transportation department, identify target accounts and negotiate business, build customer base and relationships to maximize business, negotiate rates of all modes of transportation, initiate cost control efficiencies to maximize revenues, and develop and implement safety standards in all transportation operations. As for the food service department, I will be interviewing Danny McDonald. She's the director of food services at Stafford, and she's a graduate from Drexel University. She has 17 years of experience being a director. She's a member of Texas School Nutrition Association and School Nutrition Association. The food service director is responsible for the preparation and serving of all meals. The food service director manages the food service production and delivery system, including purchase and inventory of food and supplies. The food service director will ensure conformance with food quality, nutrition, and productivity standards. The food service director will train, manage, and supervise food service staff, practice time management techniques, and ensure the highest possible customer satisfaction. To become a food service director, high school diploma is required. Specialized training in food preparation and food service management will demonstrate with demonstrable computer record keeping and communication skills is highly preferred. Responsibilities that directors have on a daily basis: they ensure that the food service operates within the established budget. They assign and direct and supervise food service workers, assist in the hiring, transfer, promotion, demotion, or dismissal of food service workers. They follow proper receiving and storage preparation techniques to ensure that all food items are maintained at a high quality until consumed. They plan and implement and review all breakfast and lunch menus, maintain the highest standards of cleanliness and safety in the kitchen, prepare our local and state reports as directed or required. They implement strategies to create an atmosphere that will attract and retain customers. They represent the food service program on District Wellness Committee. For the Human Resource Department, I will be conducting an interview with Director of Personnel Services, Teresa Sausage. She's been with the district 10 years. She graduated from Lamar University and she's working on her PhD. The ultimate goal of the Human Resource Department is to provide the highest level of education to the children in the community, and that begins with all the employees. We focus on everything that influences the effectiveness of SMSD personnel, including but not limited to recruitment, selection, and retention of highly qualified staff, employee pay, leave, and records administration, employment's law and policy compliance, and substitute management. The Director of Personnel is responsible for directing and supervising the staff of Human Relations or Personnel Department. These individuals answer for every action taken by one of his staff members. Human resource personnel must abide by employment and labor laws and regulations of the United States and the state in which they work. And an HR director can be held responsible if these laws and regulations are not followed by the staff. Director of Personnel is also responsible for developing and implementing the budget for his department. They're also responsible for all activities to hiring and firing employees of the facility. This includes determining the job classification, compensation, benefits for each person. It also often involves developing and implementing recruitment and employee evaluation policies and establishing testing and training procedures. For the PEMS department, I will be interviewing Gary Friday. He's been with the district many years. He was a teacher / coach before going into administration. He's been there for, like I said, several years. Gary Friday is the coordinator for PEMS, and as for PEMS, what it stands for is the Public Education of Information on Management Systems, and it encompasses all data requested and received by TEA about public education, including student demographic and academic performance, personnel, financial, and organizational information. The data collected through the PEMS electronic collection method has a standard set of definitions, codes, formats, procedures, and dates for the collection of data published as the PEMS data standards. Also, there's an established design. There's also a production system to format and load data into the TEA enterprise database, and written documentation description describing the numeric and alphanumeric values stored in the database published by the data documentation. For the PLEAMS electronic collection, school districts submit their data via standardized computer files as defined by the PLEAMS. Lastly, for the nurse department, I will be interviewing Claire Sartell. She's a registered nurse with a BSN. She's been with the district for about a year, and she has many years of experience in the health profession. As a school nurse, she has the responsibility to oversee healthcare policies and programs. The school nurse serves as a pivotal role to provide expertise and oversight for the provision of school health services and promotion of health education. Using clinical knowledge and judgment, the school nurse provides healthcare to students and staff, performs healthcare screenings, and coordinates referrals to the medical home or private healthcare provider. The school nurse serves as the contact between the school personnel, family, community, and healthcare providers to advocate for healthcare and a healthy school environment.
Hi, I'm JC Phoenix, Director of Operations at Stafford Municipal School District.
Okay, so I'm conducting an interview over the technology usage, and so basically the question is how do you use technology to manage your department? So what kind of software, what kind of things that you use to manage it?
Thank you for asking. We use technology basically 90% of our day. We have to utilize technology. We have a system called Eduphoria, and basically our maintenance department and our custodians take care of 5 campuses here at Stafford MSD, starting with kindergarten all the way up to high school. And what happens is the campuses would put something in Eduphoria, just say that they have a broken door handle or a spill or something that needs correction or maintenance. So what they would do is go into Eduphoria, which is a computer-based software package, and put the request in, and we in turn get a notification that something needs to occur. Also, as far as communications, we have cameras. All of the campuses have a camera on them. All of the sites here at the district have a camera. So if I need to go out and utilize the cameras, look for vandalism, look to see if there was something that malfunctioned, we can look at our cameras. Our buses, we use technology. The buses have cameras in them. We do that for 2 reasons: our safety as an employee, and also the safety of the kids in case someone comes on the bus and does something that they're not supposed to do.
Wow. So going back on the Eduphoria, so I know the requests are made. So how do you prioritize, like does the program just does it on its own, or who manages all that?
When the requester is inputting their request into Eduphoria, there is a prompt that says normal, high, or emergency. So it's set priority, and the requester indicates when they're entering it into Eduphoria the urgency of it, if it can wait or if it needs to happen now.
Oh, okay. So, is there any other technology you might use, maybe, I don't know, to manage like if something needs to be repaired, so like for your equipment or something? I'm not sure.
Well, our lights and our air conditioning is also on a computer. We can manually turn on the lights, or also we can go into the computers. We have software packages that we've purchased where we can have the lights turn on at certain times. It's called automation. We also can go out there, and if a campus calls and say that they're hot, well, we can go in and lower the temperature, or vice versa if they're cold. So we get prompts too if the system gets too low. Then that means that something's wrong and we need to come and look at it. Also, we have a software package for our kitchen. All of the refrigerators are on a system where if they get too high, we get alerts, and that means we need to go over and check that refrigerator. And everything that I'm referring to. Also, we're identified on our computers, but also on our cell phones. So we have 24, 7 days a week communication with our campuses through technology.
Okay. Is there a certain clock in or just, how do you manage the employees? Like what kind of
Yes,
software?
everybody clocks in with the district Texas website. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay,
Even
so-
I do myself.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Well, this concludes the interview. I really appreciate your information and the response. So very
Great.
Thank you.
Well, good luck and thank you.
All right.
All right.
Right.
Okay.
I'm good. So.
Hello, my name is Greg Jerkins. I am the transportation supervisor here at Stafford MSD.
Good. So I'm conducting an interview for my requirement for my master's program, and it's simply on the usage of how you use technology to manage your department.
Okay.
So,
Well, we use technology in many ways. We have programs that we use on our computers that allow us to process work orders or requests from different departments for transportation. So we log into a system called Eduphoria, and we can look at all of the transportation requests from the various departments. We can update them and get information from them that will allow us to prepare the right type of vehicle that will suit their needs. We also, each of our vehicles are equipped with GPS equipment. So at any given time, we can go again on a program and log into what we call Synovia, and it tracks our vehicles. So if we want to know where a vehicle is en route, it can find that vehicle for us. Or we can also tell whether or not the vehicle has come to a stop, whether it's opened up its doors and put on its stop lights and things of that nature. So it helps us manage our fleet.
is there any other particular software that you use, like just to for instance, manage your drivers or scheduling? How does all that work?
A lot of that is still done manually, but we do use calendars. For example, if I have a driver, I mean, this is simple, right?
Yeah.
If I have a driver that calls in and say, "Hey, I'm going to be absent," we go into what we know as ASOP, and and you're probably
Yeah.
familiar with it, and it tells you who's going to be absent when. And then I will go a step further, and I'll open up Microsoft Outlook calendar and put that information in the calendar and copy the dispatcher so that we'll both know on any particular day this driver is not going to be available to us.
And so I know you mentioned dispatch. So communication, it's done via dispatch,
Right.
or what kind of
We
technology?
use one of these radios like this, and each bus is equipped with the radio, so dispatch can key up their radio and talk to a bus driver, and we communicate all types of information over the radio. So that is a good technology that we use all the time. We would be dead in the water without that.
How about the cameras in the bus and all that?
Do you want to be supervisor? What, man? You know my job better than I do. Absolutely. That's a very valuable tool that each of our buses are equipped with, and it allows us to review past things that happen on the bus. I'm searching for the word, but anyway, past incidents on the bus. If we have a disciplinary issue, we can pull the tapes from the bus, and we have a program on our computer that converts the video and allows us to view it on our computer. So that also is a very valuable tool that we use.
Well, that's pretty much it. Some wraps up the interview, and I really appreciate your time and the time your responses as well.
Okay,
So,
thanks for the opportunity, and good luck with your studies towards your master's.
thank you.
Okay, my name is Danny McDonald, and I am the Child Nutrition Director for Stafford Municipal School District.
Okay, pleasure. So I'm conducting this interview about the uses of technology. So the question is, how do you use technology to manage your department?
Okay, well, we have two different types of software that we use to manage the department. One is a menu planning software, and it's called NutriKids, which has where we put in all our menus. It does the production. It has all the recipes for the staff to produce. It has it can analyze the menu. It does a nutrient analysis for the menus, and it tells you all the ingredients that we are using with recipes. The other software that we use is called CyberSoft.
Mm-hmm.
That particular software is at the registers, and it has the parents can do their payments online, and it has all the information, all the transaction. A parent can see everything that a student is purchasing on a daily basis. They can do a transaction report for the month, or they can do it for a particular day. They can do it since school started. And that software also, for the free and reduced applications, we do the applications online, and it's the same software where parents can go and do the application, and then we retrieve the application and process it.
Okay. Do you process like kids that are allergic? How does that documentation get to
Okay,
you?
if there are students that have any kind of allergies, by the federal law states that we have to get a healthcare professional to give us a signed statement that the student is allergic to whatever.
Does it?
Then we put it in the software. So when the kids come in and they punch in their numbers, the cashier will see that they have a particular allergy, and it's in bold red that the student is allergic to peanut butter, for example, or peanuts. So
Okay.
it alerts them.
Okay. I know that as teachers, we use our number. We have to deposit money into it in order to purchase a lunch tray. But is there at any point are we gonna move towards like debit cards or anything like that? Transactions.
Well, at the register, that particular software is not available with the program that we use.
Okay.
You can do debit or credit, but you have to do it online to do
Okay.
prepayment,
Prepayment.
not at the register. Currently, not yet.
Okay.
Yes.
Pleasure. Is there anything else you want to add that you might have passed up? Or...
Well, we also have other software that the district uses that we also use, that we need to get the information, like student data from the district use Texas.
Okay.
And that particular software is connected with CyberSoft.
Okay. Oh.
So then every 2 o'clock in the morning, I think there is a program that it uploads all the students. The students that's been that are no longer enrolled, the inactive, and it updates the information on a daily basis. So then we're current.
Oh, okay. Clock in, clock out. Anything else? Manage scheduling.
We do the same. We use the same software as a district to clock in on
Okay.
the
And scheduling and everything else as well.
yes.
Right. Well, fantastic. That concludes
Okay.
the interview, babe. I really appreciate you.
Sure.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Teresa Sawzedge, and I'm the Director of Personnel for Stafford Municipal School District. I've worked here about 13 years.
Okay. All right. So I'm here to conduct an interview for my master's program, and one of the questions that we were asked to ask you was, how do you use technology to manage your department?
Well, we use technology in a variety of different ways in HR. The primary tool we use is called Winocular. It is our application system where people that are interested in applying, they go online at www.staffordmsd.org and apply. That is a tracking system. We see who has applied. It tracks to see if they're eligible. It does a background check automatically through another company we are working with, and then the principals and the hiring administrators can view the applicants, make notes, interview notes and things like that to keep up with what their plans are, make recommendations, things like that. We also use an ASOP system, which is our substitute system. It tracks how the employees are out and if and when they need a substitute. I use Texas, our employee access database. It has an HR module. We use that daily. And also, of course, all that Microsoft products, spreadsheets, PowerPoints, things of that nature.
Okay, so a lot of your documents are they available like through technology, or is it like on paper, or if it moved
We're slowly working through that process of trying to make everything paperless. We are turning a lot of our forms that are normally handwritten into Adobe Forms online. Our new hire packet traditionally was all handwritten on paper, but we've now got most of that online. All of our insurance forms and things are online. So we are working toward a paperless environment the best we can. But sometimes you do have to revert back to paper depending on what the situation is. But when we can, I try to send out things for e-signature and let people send them back to me. Not always can they do that. That is dependent on if they have the latest version of Adobe on their machine, things like that. It's not always as easy as it sounds, but we are working toward that.
Oh, okay. I know you were saying about the what is it, ocular?
Binocular?
Binocular. Okay, so I know when I applied here,
Yes.
so how does it manage to like who sees what, like who?
Well, you set up user rights. For instance, if you applied at the high school, so the high school hiring authorities, which would be probably the assistant principals and the principals, they have user rights to those specific positions. We post the positions, and then we go in and give user rights to whoever's the hiring authority. So they would be able to type in a posting number and see who all applied for that. They can also see if their background check is clear, see whether or not they're really eligible, if they're actually certified or not. So then once they see that, they can see all your information. That's how they know what your contact information is. They can call you, they make notes in there, and then once they decide, for instance, in your case, they recommend you. So they pull your name out, they make a recommendation, it's just a check of a box, and that comes to me, and then I review it, and then we go through the process.
Okay. And payroll and all that, how does that go through? Or
Well, now payroll's a different department. It doesn't
Okay.
fall under HR, but payroll uses the Texas employee system, and there was a payroll module. So all that's done through Texas, what we call Texas.
okay, so Texas used for everything. Huh?
Well, there's a student module, an HR portion, or a business portion. There's a finance portion and a budgeting portion.
Wow. Okay. Well, that will conclude our interview.
All
That
right.
was phenomenal.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your time.
No
All right.
problem.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thanks.
My name is Gary Friday. I'm the PEMS coordinator for Stafford Municipal School District. I've been a PEMS coordinator for 10 years. And before that, I was a teacher and coach. And my total years in education is 37 years.
All right, so I'm conducting an interview for my master's program, and it's basically on the usage of technology. And so the question is, how do you use technology to manage your department?
Okay. As
So-
far as technology is
yeah.
concerned, everything that we do, almost everything that we do, you have to have a computer for. Okay? So, gradebook is an electronic gradebook for teachers. All right? That's how you take attendance. It's electronic. So all those attendance codes, they come into our software from the gradebook into Texas, which is our software, and that gets submitted to the state. And of course, if y'all make an error, if the teachers make an error, it's got to be corrected. All right, you know about that,
Yeah,
don't you?
I do.
Okay. All right, so you're talking about everything that is submitted is money, or it's funding. It's ADA funding, but it's also if the student's code is bilingual or ESL, you got to make sure all your coding is correct. So, for example, there's 4 major submissions, and last summer there was over 100,000 records submitted by Stafford. We got 3,400 kids. We had 100,000 records. So we're talking schedules, we're talking attendance, we're talking discipline. All right, this all gets submitted to the state, to TEA, and so there are errors. There can be fatal errors that you cannot complete your submission until you get it cleaned up. You want to make sure your coding is correct, because you cannot, by state law, the most you can suspend a kid is for 3 days. If you suspend a kid for 4 days, then you're going to get hit that PBMS and performance-based monitoring, and you're going to probably end up doing a CIP, continuous improvement plan. You want to make sure you're training everybody. You want to check everything to make sure it's right. You want to make sure your coding is right. And so it's not just attendance and discipline, it's teachers. So for Angel, the TEA, what I have to submit is your social security number, your date of birth, the number of years you've been teaching as a professional, your name that's listed on your social security card. So even though your name, you might be called Angel, if you have a different first name, it's going to go by your different first name. And then your salary is submitted to TEA.
Okay. And this is all through the software through
Yep.
Texas.
Mhm.
And do we keep the records of that like through the software, or how
Yes,
do we
everything
manage?
is still there.
It's still there.
Right. Everything is still there. We have several years. There are a certain amount of time you keep records. Some things are permanent. So like a high school transcript, whether the kid graduated from here or not, is permanent.
Okay.
Okay. But for example, the student never attended high school and withdrew, then those records can be destroyed 5 years after their date of withdrawal. Okay, so we always keep 6 years. And the reason is so that we always have 5 full years. Plus, we're a smaller school district. We got about 3,400 kids. We're not HISD with 200,000 kids. Okay. So you're looking at that. You're looking at whether it's an email. Okay. You're looking at a student enrolls, and somebody needs to know where were they before they came here, because the parent doesn't put it down.
Okay.
We can go find them.
All right.
Okay, electronic through TEA. We have a website that we go to. We can find the history of where the student has been. Okay, so it's all those things plus more. There's other things that we use, like do you teach PE classes or only Spanish?
Only Spanish.
Okay, so there's FitnessGram that has to be reported. Okay, there's other things. It's just until you get into this job, you wouldn't even realize it.
Yeah, I understand. It's like a lot of it has to do with the public records.
And also, here's another thing. To submit to TEA all the data for what I do, you have to be on Internet Explorer. Okay, they're a little bit behind times. They do not take a submission through Firefox, through Chrome. Okay, you have to be on IE. I'm on IE 11, and then I have to have a patch to apply to that, because I think they're still on IE 9 or something, and you got to apply patches to be able to accept it. So there's different things like that.
So it's not up to date with the current
They've got
browsers.
problems.
Oh, so and that goes with a lot of other software, or is it just like everything else gets updated?
Well, you have to look at your software, because when we had vendors coming, when the No Child Left Behind Act started, you had a lot of people going to selling software to school districts. Okay. And so some of these vendors, they don't keep up to date with their stuff. We were looking at a software last year for bilingual ESL students, separate from what we had. Okay. And I noticed about the coding, the parent permission code. I said, y'all don't have a J up there. All right. The guy, the presenter didn't even know about it. So he's going to have to look it up and get back with his company to add it. Well, if they're not keeping it up, what else are they not keeping up? Okay. So there's things to look at, not just to buy stuff. You got to be able to use it, and it has to be effective, because we still have bilingual ESL stuff in our software that we submit to TEA. This was a separate software.
I'm Claire Sartwell, and I'm an RN, and I'm the nurse for Stafford Middle School and High School.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So I'm conducting an interview for my master's program, and I wanted to know regarding the use of technology in your department to manage your, whether your employees or your,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
So we use technology here in the clinic because we have an electronic health record. And so every visit, every child that comes into the clinic, we enter that into the computer system, Texas. It's the same system we use for gradebook and those types of things. But we enter them into the computer. We also enter all of our screening, immunizations, and those types of things into that same computer system, which makes it a lot easier to know who hasn't been screened, who has been screened. We can run reports that let us know who's due for an immunization, who failed their eye exam, and who to follow up on, and those types of things. So it makes it a lot easier than keeping a paper record.
Okay. Is there any other ways to use besides the software? Or?
No, I mean we use it, for looking at phone calls and those types of things. But Texas is really the program that we use as far as the clinic's concerned. And then of course we use the computer to do our clock in and clock out, just like everyone else does, I think, within the school system. And then email to get email's probably the number one piece of technology, and our cell phones for the assistant principals or principals to let me know if there's a student that's coming to see me, or if maybe there's a student that I need to go see in a classroom.
Okay.
So we text back and forth a lot throughout the day about students.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that concludes
Okay.
the interview. So
Okay.
that was really quick.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. Sorry.
Appreciate
Is there
it.
anything else?
That I can think of. I mean, really, it's just like management wise, how to use it to maybe manage your nurse aide or anything like that.
Yeah, we don't really. I mean, without the software, it'd be really hard for Blanca and I to know. We're able to run reports to know, because we switch off at the front to know, if medications have been given or not been given, and to be able to follow up all that. It makes it a lot easier.
I know, like in the hospital setting, you use they use electronic files.
They do.
And so I don't know, do we use that or do we still file on paper and all that?
Well, everything. So the state of Texas requires us still to have a paper chart.
Okay.
So immunizations and those types of things. That's why we have all of these cabinets. We're still required to have paper copies of immunizations, even though it's in the computer system.
Okay.
The computer system doesn't supersede that anymore. You're absolutely right. In the hospital, the electronic health record, there is no paperwork anymore. So it's a very different, because that's actually what my husband does for a living.
Oh, really?
Is electronic.
So what about keeping up with the medicine and all that?
That we have to keep a paper chart, and we have to keep we enter it all in electronically, but we also have to keep a paper chart that'll go into their actual paper record. And with care plans that we make, they're on the computer, but we also have to have a binder. Oh, it's at the front. We also have to have a binder for care plans and a paper one as well.
Oh.
So I email them to the teachers, but I still have to keep a paper record that'll go into their chart. And that's just because the state still requires that.
Okay.
We haven't gone completely electronic. I wish we were, but we're not.
Oh, okay.
So, because I'm not a paper, because I've always been in the hospital setting.
Okay.
And so I'm used to having just an electronic.
Okay.
Chart.
Chart. Well,
Yeah.
Well, that will conclude the
Okay.
interview, and that
All
was
right.
perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Um,
Appreciate that.
Sure.
I had the opportunity to conduct various video interviews among several leaders and their personnel regarding the use of technology to manage their department. To conduct such interviews, I had to reach out all the participants via email first, and I didn't get any, not any. I got some response, some replied back, some others didn't. I believe they actually did read the message or that I sent them, because they knew when I actually approached their office that what the interview was about. So, and this is due really because due to the busy schedules they have. Sometimes they, hey, they might read our email and forget about it, and so so I was able finally in the span of 1 week to take care of all interviews. I had to kind of go during my conference period and after school, before track practice, and try to actually conduct these interviews. I mean, I try to knock out one or two a day, but it was sometimes difficult just because, like for instance, the maintenance personnel there was not in her office, and so had to find a time where, hey, when are you gonna be there? And so I just showed up, but the good thing is that they have an open door policy. If they're there in their office, they're willing to answer any questions. So the interview itself, I mean, the part of the requirement for this activity took a good, supposed to be 4 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, or but in this, on some occasions, I spent more than just 3 5 minutes, just because the conversations we had and the insight I gained from their responsibilities and their duties was really interesting to me. So not only I learned about the technology used to manage their department, but also about different aspects of their job. So this opportunity that I was given to make the interview was very beneficial for me. I learned a lot, and reflecting back on it, I really enjoyed just speaking with them, and gaining insight about their work. And like I said, I know this video and this participation video shows a glimpse of the stuff they do to manage their department. But again, I learned much more from it. On one occasion, I could say I spent like an hour just speaking to the PEAMS coordinator about all the things he goes through and all the responsibility and tasks he does on a daily basis. And so now going into the interview itself, on the uses of technology, I believe that one of the things I understand is that at our school, Texas, the software Texas it's a program that is used among all leaders to manage their department. I think that's one of the biggest forms of technology that is used to manage it. So, what is Texas? Well, Texas has been around for over 4 decades. It's an education and software program, which offers a comprehensive range of powerful web-based business and student administrative applications. And it's written specifically for Texas schools. So it's a state-sponsored student information system, as well as a complete range of business application designed exclusively for Texas local education agencies. Texas is fully integrated solution that streamlines operational needs and simplifies reporting requirements. Texas also gives you localized support from 19 education service centers across Texas, who have expertise in the needs of their local LEAs and dedication to local customer support. Like I said, in addition to Texas business and student application, Texas is complemented by a PEAMS component that performs all state mandated extract supports for OCR reporting, as well as parent-teacher student-focused set of applications, including Texas Gradebook, Texas Connect Parent Portal, and the Texas MyZone Student Course Request System, which all are mobile device compatible. So going back to the Texas Gradebook, as a teacher, we manage our classroom or attendance through that. We do. They have the gradebook aspect, which is we post and input and post our grades through that, and so that's a component that is very beneficial for us teachers. We don't have to write it by hand or anything. It's just used by your PIN number, and you post the attendance as well as the grades. Students and parents have access to Parent Portal, which is another component of Texas, which is a form of communication among teachers and parents and students in the school. So again, Texas is one of the softwares that is really used among all departments, teachers, leaders, parents, and students. Lastly, I think another thing that stuck out to me is that we use paper a lot, and so one of the things I think we could improve as a campus is going digital. It's a difficult thing to implement just because sometimes legal documents and other things that don't need to be notarized or need to be in paper. So for some things it will really work, but for some others, I mean, it save time. So again, like for instance, if we have a document that needs to be signed right away, instead of printing out the copy, instead of and then scanning it and then having that, you could send a electronic file and just sign using a pen or using a login password type of thing, and you'll have that document a matter of seconds. So say for instance, there's a document that needed to be signed over the weekend. Well, the fastest way to get to it is through online. So you will sign it and just send it right then and then. So yeah, that's one of the things I think as a campus we could move towards, having digital copies. But that's something that, depending on certain software, for instance, for the PIN coordinator, I know some of the stuff it's can be have
Finally,
security issues. I think the most difficult part or aspect of this assignment or requirement was the actual video recording. Recording other people, it's much easier than recording yourself. So it takes time and practice to actually do this. So I think again, these videos that are required to do are really helping us. Say, for instance, later in the future, you want to, who knows, teach over the internet. You can through the lens of a camera, and so I guess this is helping me with that as well. But it's a very difficult task, recording oneself, but managed to do it, and hopefully you like the video, and this video served as an informational video, and this is it.